Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to check the Betafpv 65X HD, a brushless 2S swoop, which is equipped with a split-style FPV/HD recording onboard camera. In this video I'm going to quickly go over its features and specs, show you how to set it up, and test it both indoors and outdoors. In terms of packaging, the Beta65X HD comes inside this nice high-quality carrying case. Inside, along with the quadcopter, you can find a spare canopy, two 1S 300 mAh LHV batteries, which are using the BT 2.0 plug and are going to be connected in series, and a bag that contains a Phillips screwdriver, an extra set of Gemfan 31mm propellers, a spare plastic part which secures the FPV camera, and the BT 2.0 to PH 2.0 extension adapter. In terms of specs, the Beta65X HD is using the Betafpv 0802 14,000 kV motors. The frame is the same frame of the Meteor 65. It is made out of polypropylene, and due to that it is very light, flexible and durable. Under the plastic canopy you can find a 37 channels 25mW VTX that supports smart audio. It is using an IPX antenna connector, and its linear antenna is secured to the board using some glue. On the bottom of the stack you can find an F4 all-in-one flight controller. It came pre-flashed with Betaflight 4.1.0, it supports up to 2S LHV batteries, and its integrated 5A BLLES 4-in-1 ESC came pre-flashed with Jazz Maverick 16.77 firmware, and the flight controller is configured to use RPM filters. On top of the flight controller you can find the highlight of this quadcopter, a modified version of the Caddx Baby Turtle FPV/HD recording camera, which makes this quadcopter, according to Betafpv, the smallest and lightest HD Cinewhoop. The camera unit is secured in this manner to the plastic canopy, so its angle is not adjustable. The 1080p 60 frames per second HD footage is going to be saved to an onboard micro SD card, and configuring the camera is done using camera controls using your radio controller. Finally, the Beta65X HD is available with multiple radio receiver options, and in case you are going to get the Frsky FCC or the Futaba versions, the radio receiver is going to be integrated to the flight controller. The weight of the Beta65X HD without batteries is 30.5 grams and 46.8 grams including them. The two 1S batteries are going to be connected in series using two BT 2.0 connectors in order to create a 2S battery, and since the original frame of the Meteor 65 support only a single battery, the second battery is going to be mounted on top of the first one using a 3D printed TPU part. Pay attention that you can easily lose this part when no batteries are mounted on the drone, and unfortunately Betafpv does not provide you with a spare battery mount inside the package, so make sure not to lose it. In order to set up the Beta65X HD, connect its flight controller to your computer using the micro USB port which is located on the bottom of the quadcopter, and pay attention that the VTX is going to be powered up even when the flight controller is going to be powered only via USB, so make sure not to leave it sitting on the bench for too long. Then after connecting the flight controller to your computer, open up Betaflight and hit connect. Here you can see the default configuration. So smart audio is configured on UR2, the ESC/moto protocol is set to DSHOT 300, and bidirectional DSHOT is enabled in order to use Betaflight's RPM filter. The gyro update frequency and the PID loop frequency are set to 4 kHz. And since I've got the Frsky FCC version where the radio receiver is built into the flight controller, the receiver mode is set to SPI RX support, and I'm using Frsky D8 protocol, so the SPI bus receiver provider is set to Frsky D, and if you'd like to bind it on D16 mode, you can set it to Frsky X. Even though on the flight controller you can find a bind button, the easiest way to bind your radio receiver is to go to the CLI tab on Betaflight, type bind_RX, and press enter. Now the radio receiver is in binding mode and we can bind it to the radio transmitter. Now on the radio receiver tab, make sure that all the sticks are working properly, define your favorite flight modes, set up your favorite OSD elements, and configure the VTX using the video transmitter tab on Betaflight, and since this flight controller came pre-flashed with Betaflight 4.1.0, it's using the VTX stable feature, which is pre-configured for you. So all you have to do is to select the band, channel, and save your settings. Configuring the Betafpv Nano HD recording camera is done using the sticks of your radio controller. In order to enter the settings menu, put the throttle at mid position and then yaw to the right. Then make sure to leave the throttle at mid position and you can navigate through the settings using the pitch and roll stick. First you can set the OSD settings. Next, under video settings, you can set the resolution. You can set the loop video option, so a new video file can be created every 1, 3 or 5 minutes, and if you'd like, you can set this feature to off, which is the default option. You can set the auto recording to on or off, and if it is going to be set to on, which is the default and the recommended settings in my opinion, the camera is going to start recording as soon as you're going to power up your quadcopter. Next, under camera setting, you can set the exposure, you can set the field of view to high, medium or narrow, you can flip the screen, and you can set the light frequency according to your country. Under image effect, you can set the saturation, sharpness, contrast, and brightness. In the main menu, you can change the TV system between NTSC and PAL, and you can also change the aspect ratio between 4:3 and 16:9, which is the default option. Under system settings, you can turn auto boot to on or off. By default, it is going to be set to on, but if you accidentally set it to off, the camera is not going to power up when you are going to power up your quadcopter, and if it happens to you, you will need to power up the camera by long pressing the start/stop recording button. Next, you can set the language, you can format the SD card, and you can perform a factory reset. Once you're done configuring the camera, select Save and Exit, and then I recommend to reboot the quadcopter. After powering up the Beta65X HD, the HD recording camera is going to start recording automatically. The recording procedure is going to be indicated on your video feed, and in order to stop the recording, you can either press the start/stop button, which is located over here, or you can simply power off the Beta65X HD, as your video footage is going to be automatically saved to the microSD card. The next thing that I've done is to test the Beta65X HD both indoors and outdoors. After testing it out, I can tell you that first of all, this is a very durable micro quadcopter, as I crashed it many times and I even got it a little bit wet, and except that now the camera lens is a little bit out of focus and I will need to adjust it, the quadcopter still works flawlessly, and I think that it was a good decision by Betafpv to use this type of robust plastic canopy instead of this very fragile one that breaks easily, even though it could have saved some weight. In terms of flight performance, in my opinion, the Beta65X HD is not a match for the Meteor 65, and especially not for the Meteor 75, due to the added weight of the batteries and the onboard HD recording camera. Having said that, I think that Caddx and Betafpv have done a tremendous job reducing the weight of the original unmodified Caddx Baby Turtle from 11.9 to 6.7 grams, and I'm contemplating the idea of testing the Betafpv Nano HD recording camera with the Meteor 75, which in my opinion would be a better platform for carrying this type of HD recording camera, even though it probably won't have the title World's Smallest or World's Lightest in its name. As for flight time, you can expect between 2 to 3 minutes depending on how you fly, which is quite alright, and I recommend of course to get more batteries because 2 which are only suitable for one flight is not enough. And also recommend to consider getting the Betafpv USB 1S BT 2.0 battery charger, which also double acts as a battery tester. Finally, as for its range, in case you are getting a version with a built-in SPI-RX receiver like me, you are going to be pretty much limited by the receiver and not by the VTX, and you can expect a range of between 100 to 200 meters. I'm going to wrap up this review with some flight footage, which hopefully is going to help you to make your mind if the HD footage is acceptable for you and is worth sacrificing the flight performance in comparison, for example, to the Meteor 65. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video, and as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notifications bell if you're not already subscribed. See you on my next videos, and goodbye.